Hey guys, Andrew here, and I'm here with David, and we're going to be talking about Call of Duty. How are you today?
This is day 3 of E3. Been a fantastic couple of days being on the show floor showing Call of Duty Black Ops multiplayer for the very first time. Look, E3 makes you tired, but I'm in high spirits.
That's pretty much what everyone's been telling me about E3, and I completely agree with them. So with Call of Duty, especially with Black Ops, it's been more grounded with realism and historic events, and now we're branching out into the more high-tech sci-fi parts of Call of Duty. Can you go in a little detail about that?
Yeah, I mean, what does 2065 look like, really? Does anybody really know? I mean, part of the job as a game designer and as for the narrative team as well is to look at the Black Ops timeline and say, hey, let's look at what this would be like. How would this play out from our fiction and our story? Where does it go?
And of course, when we're talking about Call of Duty, we have to talk about multiplayer. What are you adding into Call of Duty Black Ops 3?
Yeah, so at the show floor, we've been talking about and showing people firsthand 3 different kind of core things. The first is what we've done with the combat movement system. That's a fast, fluid, and visceral system where the gun stays up. You're not blocked or slowed down when you're trying to mantle. You can sprint forever. You can wall run, thrust jump, power slide, and swim. On top of that, we're also showing off the specialists. Those are those new playable characters in MP, each with a special weapon or a special ability. That doesn't take away from Create a Class or Pick 10 or Score Streaks. Both of those game features still exist, but the specialist lives right in between those, and they're a lot of fun. They're big, chunky choices with names and personalities and voices that you get to hear. And then on the customization side, we've been showing people Gunsmith and Paint Shop. That's a way for a player to create a custom variant version of his very own weapon, dock it out with the attachments and optics he wants, the paint job of his choice, and the camo, and name that and collect stats on it.
Excellent. Now, what have you learned from past Black Ops games that you're implementing into Black Ops 3?
So we know this from, all the way back to Black Ops, the very first one, and even before that, that the players really love to have head-to-head engagements. They want to have the combat in frame. They want gun mastery to be the deciding factor between a victory and a loss. And we've been working very hard to make sure that the combat loop is as tight as we can get it. We've been winding it tight, but here we said a deliberate strategic choice in the game design to set the whole game up so the combat is really pushed really tightly together, so that those in the gunfight, the ones who maneuver into the best position, are in the best position to win that fight.
And speaking of player interaction, how has player input affected your development of the game?
It's not a secret at all that I'm quite involved with the community side of things. We pay a lot of attention to that. I've even jumped on Reddit this year and had a lot of fun with that. And they shape the game in all sorts of ways that they probably don't even know. So besides me, there's also other developers who are out there lurking in the world. And we'll pull out things like, oh, that actually makes sense or sounds interesting. So as long as it's contextualized for the game we're trying to make, those things will bubble up to the top. And it's actually, players have a lot of input, directly and indirectly, as a result of that engagement with them.
Okay, and my final question, more on a personal note, what are you most excited about Black Ops 3?
So there's stuff that I haven't gotten to yet later this year that's a big deal on the esports front. So I have a lot of pride in that strategy. We spent a lot of energy on it. We're working on its design right now. But right now, look, I think the Specialist is a really unique twist on things, right? This is Call of Duty. There's a certain expectation from fans, especially a Treyarch Call of Duty multiplayer game. And what Specialists do for us is allow us to kind of keep moving forward, provide some interesting new ways at looking at the game and the gameplay and the combat. And, we worked really hard on them. We worked really hard to find their abilities or their weapons, to set them up, to make them, to polish them, to tune them. And we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how they relate to each other, what they sound like, and bringing together for Black Ops, and not just MP, this is an online game. It's not just multiplayer, and it's not just zombies, but it's also 4-player co-op. Right. So, I've been doing this for nearly 20 years. It's been a lifelong chase of mine to create an online game, a game that was always online all the time. Black Ops 3 is that game.
Okay, excellent. And when can players finally get their hands on Black Ops 3?
November 6th is your answer. I will see you then.
Okay. David, thank you so much for your time. I'm very excited for this game. And for more content like this, please go to shacknews.com.